Hey girls, welcome to Girls Central, brought to you by the YWCA Santa Monica West Side. For many years, the YWCA has led the way to building strong and confident girls. My name is Miss V, and joining me today are Sarah, Alexis, Mariah, and Dali.
Hi.
Hello. Hey. All right, girls, let's start with a fun question so that we can get to know you better. If you could buy or design a bumper sticker for your future car that represents your life, what would it say and why? Let's start with you, Sarah.
Ooh, a bumper sticker. I think mine would say, "Where's the food?"
Why?
Because I am constantly hungry and snacking and just eating for the sake of eating, really. So whenever I go someplace, I automatically look for the snack table and see what there's for me to eat, just like I did today.
All right. What about you, Alexis?
Mine would definitely be "Don't honk at me."
Why?
Just because when I drive, like, I get nervous, like, when I turn, and then when someone honks at me, like, I'll freak out and have to, like, go to the side and, like, have a mini panic attack. Because kind of just, like, be considerate of other people.
Yes.
Like, maybe you're in a rush, but I'm not in a rush, and I suck at driving, so.
So don't honk at her.
Yeah,
all right,
basically.
Mariah. What about you?
Mine would say, "Sorry, I couldn't hear you," because I always have my earphones in or I'm listening to music really loudly. So, like, no one can hear me, and they're always like, "Mariah, I was yelling at you for, like, 5 minutes." And I'm like, "I'm sorry." I do that all the time.
In the hallway.
So, yeah.
Okay. And Dali.
Well, mine would say better to wear out than to rest out, because when I grow old, I don't want to, just like end up in an old folks home doing nothing, just sitting there, like, crocheting or whatever. Like, I want to be like active and like doing something and like making a difference, and even if it leads to my death, whatever, I'm cool with it.
Thank you, Dali. Thanks, girls. All right, so we have a great show for you today. We'll discuss hot topics affecting teens, teach you how to take a stand against cyberbullying, and later on, I'll be answering your write-in questions. All right, girls, let's talk. Since the first beauty pageants in the 1850s, beauty pageants have grown in popularity and become a multi-million-dollar industry. However, there is much criticism that says they do more harm than good, and reality shows like Toddlers and Tiaras have only sparked more debate. Still, many people say that there's lots of benefits from joining a pageant. So, do you think that beauty pageants are good or bad for females?
Well, I think a beauty pageant could kind of be a confidence boost in a way. If it's played out right and the person participating makes sure to keep their head on straight and to not get so absorbed in jealousy and competition, it's just kind of nice to be able to showcase like your talent and like your self-confidence in a way and kind of be praised for it.
Who disagrees?
Well, okay.
I think there's a negative side to it too, though. Like, all the competition you don't see backstage, and also like the outfits and stuff. Like, people feel pressured to look like how they look when they go on stage, and like it's a hard process to go through a lot of the time.
What about you, Alexis?
I think that they're fine because the competition is about beauty. So when you sign up, you're signing up to be judged based on your looks and based on how you're dressed, how like full out your makeup is, and how much you can impress the judges. So the main issue that people have with it is like, oh, like it's judging people on like their looks only, and it's like that's what a beauty pageant is. So if you sign up for that, that's what you're signing up for.
Is that good or bad for females though?
But
Because that's the question.
Because I feel like it only promotes a certain style of beauty and a certain set of rules that you need to follow, and I think that takes away from the idea that everyone can be different and beautiful.
Yeah, like if somebody came out on in a beauty pageant with like a t-shirt and jeans, they would not like win.
That's
if you
true,
know what
but
I mean.
like just based on I guess people that I know, someone who would come out wearing a t-shirt and jeans most likely isn't someone who would sign up for a beauty pageant.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's like a certain type of like person who likes to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm talking about like the way like your face is structured, or like the way that your eyes are, or the way that your body type is. It's a certain look that they're looking for when they ask, when you enter a beauty pageant. If you don't cut it, then obviously you can't enter in it. And like not only that, but it also tells the rest of the people who aren't in the beauty pageants what the standard of beauty is.
Yeah.
You mean like everyone who's watching the beauty pageant? So like if you're at home and you're watching Miss America or Miss USA, like yes, maybe they didn't decide to sign up, like how Alexa said, like it's up to the girls who want to sign up and they know what they're getting themselves into. But what does it show people at home that are watching, or like little girls that are watching and they're saying like, oh, okay, like that's what you need to be like in order to be Miss America? Like, is that good or is it bad?
Well,
Because you could look at it both ways, so I'm curious what you guys think.
As far as little girls go, there are a lot of little girls who kind of want to they see Disney movies and they want to be princesses, and beauty pageants is almost like a real life princess in a way, because you dress up and then you you do your hair, you do your makeup, you do fancy like outfits and stuff, and that's kind of almost, I don't want to say a dream come true, but it's almost like a fantasy that's in real life. And I think it's their choice if they want to really like partake in that, and in a way it can be good for them. If it makes them happy, then why not?
But isn't that almost like distracting young girls? Because it's like they become so absorbed in the idea of being beautiful or the idea of their looks that they no longer seem to, at least I guess, care about other things. Like I feel like it hinders the productiveness of our society when young girls are, told that, oh yeah, this is a standard of beauty that you guys should, adhere to. And like then all of their focus becomes on that, and like, what if their role model or their princess could be, the president, like if, our president was a girl.
Yeah, good point. So we can talk about this forever, but we do need to move on. So we know that it's normal to get along with some people more than others, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm sure that there's been a time when someone has said something not so nice about each one of us. But the question is, if you know that someone's saying something bad about you, do you confront that person about it or do you let it go?
Well, when I was in middle school, I was that person that would like constantly go up to people and be like, I heard you were talking about me.
What?
I heard you were saying things.
No.
And it's like, now that I'm older, it's like, that didn't solve anything, and it never does. So I think I don't think you have to make everyone like you or have to agree with everyone. So you can kind of just let it go. But also, I guess if they're kind of saying something that's necessarily bad, like I help out the 6th graders, they're like, this girl told everyone at school I'm pregnant, and I was like, okay,
Oh.
well, okay. Yeah. So I was like, that's something that's wrong and shouldn't be said. So you can kind of go up to them, but when you go up to them, like make it one-on-one and more personal rather than what were you saying? Like kind of just like, why don't you like me? Like I feel like we can fix this.
So you're saying like if it's someone that just doesn't like you, then let it go.
Yeah.
But if they're like starting a malicious rumor about you, go up to them, but in a way that's like not going to make
Not
it
like
worse.
trying to attack
Yeah,
them.
you should like contact the teacher or something if that happens, because like the school things are always like like malicious and not like a
Like
serious
rumors,
thing.
you mean, and stuff?
Yeah.
And like honestly, if it's not affecting you in like a personal way, and if it's not really doing anything, it's not affecting your life or like the way you feel about yourself, there's really no point in giving it any attention, because rumors are started and stuff like that started just pretty much to spark like
just to get on your
fights and stuff.
nerves.
Exactly. And if it doesn't bother you, then there's really nothing that they're succeeding in. I mean, if it's something that's like really hurtful and it really is affecting you, then exactly what Alexis said, to go one-on-one and make sure that it just no one else gets like involved. And if that's
because that makes it so much worse. Like if you take your friends, even if you have like the best intentions and you
support,
or like backup, it just gets so much worse. And like I feel like people will act differently in front of their friends than they would like just one-on-one. So that's a good point.
I think I've learned through Girl Scouts, and it actually works, is when you're confronting someone, instead of saying you did this, you did that, you use I statements. So it's like, this
Can you
is
give
how
us an example?
I feel. Yeah, it'd be like, wait, I feel really bad about, what you're saying about me. It makes me feel like, people are attacking me and judging me for something that's not true.
Instead of like, you
Yeah,
said
instead of
this
attacking
about
the
me.
person, like show them how it makes you feel, and it's a lot easier to get a conversation across and to get, whatever your feelings across, basically.
And I remember when I was in middle school, I was part of this program called Peer Mediation, and I was a mediator. And basically, it's getting.
Did you get a name badge that said mediator?
I did.
Oh,
it was.
that's
I think
so
it was a
cool.
little like lanyard or something.
Okay, sorry, but that was okay.
But yeah, and basically you get a third party to kind of help you solve your problems. And this is a way to do things where if you're not comfortable confronting someone yourself, kind of go to a counselor. We're like student counselors, so we can relate more. And basically we just put them in a room, and like there's 2 mediators, and you just talk it out. And like there's different like forms and kind of like formats, like I statements that we'd go through. And that way we can just kind of dispel any malicious feelings in a civil way.
I feel like something that I guess that's kind of important that I guess I kind of disagree with you guys a little bit about is that I wouldn't just let anything go in regards to someone talking about me, because I think it's important to stand up for yourself and to show that you have self-worth. And even if it is someone who, you've had conflict with in the past, I think it's still important to be like, hey, I heard this, I'd appreciate it if you stop, and, and that's it, just to address it. because at least they know that you're aware of what they're doing, and like if they don't change, then that's okay, and then that's when you should let it go.
But like at least you did something about it.
Yeah.
All right. So remember, use I statements and go to the mediation group if you can. All right. So some people may think that being a teen is easy, but obviously it's not. There's
No.
lots of stuff that you can go through. But the American Psychological Association says that many teens are just as stressed as their parents, which I can totally understand.
So true.
Let's watch a short video on how stress can impact teens' lives and ways to cope.
The things that worry me, school grades. I'm going to be driving soon, so I guess driving on the road with other people who are drunk, possibly.
What causes drama is that when you go out with a boy, you always know that somebody likes that boy.
Some of the stress I feel in my life is maybe comes from school or my parents. I get into a few arguments with my parents.
School is pretty stressful, tests and quizzes and homework and studying and all this and all that.
Mainly, I worry about my grades. I don't really like having bad grades. Like if I get a C or a D, that really upsets me.
They come up to you and say, oh, you have my man, oh, you have my girl. We're going to fight over this. I'm going to start saying all this about you.
What's hard about high school is, you know, 8th grade, they're kind of just easy on you, and then you go into 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and they get harder on you, and they're getting harder on you because you need to go to college.
There's definitely some pressure and stress in my life with trying to balance so many different activities and the academics and everything.
Senior year, I'm in a giant pool of stress because I have to figure out everything that's going to happen next year, moving on in my life, and kind of sometimes I just need to step back from it and, you know, sit down and think to myself, okay.
Music does help me with my stress.
I like to be by myself when I'm upset.
Playing the drums is a huge escape. It gets a lot of anger out, and it's physically exercising. It's just really fun. You get to hit things and make loud noises. So really trying to find those times where I can just take a little step back from all the pressure and the stress, that really helps. And so I try to do that as much as possible.
It's all going to happen. It's going to be okay. You just have to take it as it comes, you know, roll with the punches.
So, how do you girls deal with stress?
Well, I can very gladly say that I finished my last official day of high school, so I have a lot of stressful stories.
Turn up.
I remember, sorry, I remember one time it was either sophomore or junior year, and I had a math test coming up, and I understood nothing, and I literally got so stressed and like panic attack, I threw my notebook across my room. Like I legitimately threw it across the room. And after, like, to get the anger out, I guess kind of made me feel better, but ultimately didn't really help. And now, after experiencing many other stressful situations, I just kind of take a deep breath, make some tea. I really like hot tea at night, kind of relax, take a nap. I value my naps.
Naps are awesome.
Yes.
And if you don't like tea, there's hot cocoa, coffee, if that's your thing. And honestly, just take a moment to relax.
Let's take a moment, everybody.
Just take a moment.
I mean, we're not really stressed anymore.
Okay, so
after high
how do
school.
you guys deal with stress?
Well, for me, I like to watch movies a lot because it takes my mind off of whatever like stressful situation is happening in my life.
Like you like to escape?
Yeah, like for me, I have a lot of boy stress, like
Boo,
specifically. So like when I watch movies, it takes my mind off of everything, and I'm just like, oh, what's gonna happen with this character? I wonder what's gonna happen now.
But you
like,
can't watch like the romance movies.
no,
right?
no, it's always
Like,
it's like action movies or something. But like I find that my mind is like taken off of everything, and I can just sit there and like focus my attention on something else, and it's great.
Okay.
I think for me, when I deal with stress, I'd like to, I guess, put like a grip on all of the things that I need to organize. So this one time in 10th grade, I had like 4 finals the next day, something crazy like that. And so I was really stressed out. So what I did was I made, I guess I organized my time. Like I put strict rules. I put strict rules and like set times. So like, 7 o'clock to 8, I do this, 8 to 9, whatever. So I did that and I followed it and I actually got everything done.
Nice.
And I was not stressed out after that. And another thing that I like noticed that helps me like deal with stress is when I'm doing things, I put the watch timer thing on my phone and I like start it to see how to actually see all the time that I'm using as I'm like doing my work, because it makes it more tangible to me, like the time that I'm using up, and it helps me be a lot more efficient.
That's awesome.
And
Especially like nowadays you can waste so much time doing stuff that you're just like, oh my gosh, I was like an hour on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Like, you don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you do, Alexis?
Well, sometimes when I get stressed, it's usually because I feel like I have a lot of things to do. So like I literally have like so many lists around my room of just things.
Are they like
that have to get
Post-its
done.
or like
Just like paper Post-its, just anything I can just like smack on the wall.
Picturing like a madman.
Yeah, I really, like I'll just get a piece of paper and I'll write everything I have to get done, and then based on like after I'll make another list of like priority of what has to get done first or what's the easiest to get done. So it makes everything seem less cluttered in my mind.
Oh,
That's
that's true.
awesome.
I do that too.
and we're glad
sometimes.
that you put the TV show on your list.
One thing
I'm so
that
happy. This show.
my teacher
All right.
used to say that like you can write down your worries, and that makes you feel better like mentally or something. Just write down what you're worried about and it gets it out.
And you can like
tried it?
crumble
Does
it.
it work?
Yeah, I did that during like my APs. and it
Okay, so
works.
we need to move on, but we got a lot of good tips. Thank you so much. So do you know what time it is?
What time is it?
Girl, it's time for
Props
and Snaps. This is the time when we give a shout out to women who are doing great things in our community and around the world. So Sarah, who's on your list?
Well, I recently just, I guess you could say, retired from cheer, because I'm not doing it next year, and it was just seeing all of the groups that are being made, the new groups that are being made, and one of my friends, her name is Christina, she got moved positions, so instead of being a flyer, she's now a main base, which is the base that holds the most weight, I should say. And she is honestly doing awesome. Like, she was put in this group and just did this, like, actually a really advanced stunt, and she just did excellent. Like, it hit the first time. Just so proud of her, and I just can't wait to see where it takes her next year.
Awesome, Christina. Hold that girl up, girl. All right, Alexis?
I want to give props and snaps to the girls from the dance showcase. So there's a
Is it from your high school?
Yeah, it's from my high school ROP dance department, and we just had a showcase like 2 weeks ago, and they all worked really hard.
It was good.
So, and it was like my last show, so yeah, so I'm really proud of them for
so cute.
sticking through it.
All right.
And speaking of the showcase, I would like to give my props and snaps to all my friends who are in public domain. It's kind of like an improv like show, and it's really good. Like there were people giving speeches and poems, and like there was like acting and stuff, and it was really good. And that was the first time I went, and like everybody did a great job.
Nice.
That's cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I love public domain. Okay, I want to give my props and snaps to the entire 2014 senior class at Samo High, because we made it. Oh my gosh. Crazy. Anyways. There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And that's it for our convo, but stay with us because coming up next, we'll teach you how to take a stand against cyberbullying.
A new virus, unlike any other, has infiltrated schools through social media. A pandemic quickly spreading around the world. Its origin is yet to be known. However, individuals with a history of negative and violent home environments are often more susceptible to contraction. This girl has been infected. She is now host to the virus and risks spreading it to anyone. Every post the host makes and every text she sends exposes the virus to multiple people instantly. It is highly contagious and no one is immune. but some individuals may suffer more greatly from its side effects. The virus has chosen its victim. But there is a way to fight against it. Fight the virus. You can put a stop to it. In support of Pink Shirt Day, join the battle against bullying. Write in pink to prevent further outbreaks of this pandemic. Protect yourself and report cases of the cyberbullying virus.
Welcome back to Girl Central. My name is Johanna.
And I'm Alana.
And this is Take a Stand,
where you can learn how to take a stand for yourself and others.
You just watched a short video on cyberbullying, and if you use a cell phone or the internet, this can happen to you.
With social networking sites like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, there are more than 1 billion interactions every minute. Because so much communication happens on the internet, bullies don't just target you at school anymore.
Cyberbullying can occur anywhere, even at home, via emails, texts, cell phones, and social media websites with potentially hundreds of people involved.
The effects of cyberbullying can be devastating, leaving you feeling hurt, humiliated, angry, depressed, or even suicidal.
Cyberbullying occurs when someone uses technology to harass, threaten, or embarrass another person. Cyberbullying doesn't require physical strength or face-to-face contact and isn't limited to just a handful of witnesses at a time.
Cyberbullies comes in all shapes and sizes. Almost anyone can cyberbully someone else, often without having to reveal their true identity. Cyberbullies can torment their victims 24 hours a day, and the bullying can follow the victim anywhere so that no place, not even home, ever feels safe.
And with a few clicks, it can be witnessed by hundreds or even thousands of people online.
If you or a loved one is currently the victim of cyberbullying, it's important to remember that you're not alone.
In many cases, cyberbullying can even be more painful than face-to-face bullying because it can be done anonymously. So you may not be sure who is targeting you. Since cyberbullies can't see your reaction, they will often go much further than they would face-to-face with you.
So what if you are a target of cyberbullying? Follow these 5 steps to keep yourself safe.
Number 1, never respond. It's important not to respond to any messages or posts written about you, no matter how hurtful or untrue. This will only make the situation worse. Getting a reaction from you is exactly what they want, so don't give them the satisfaction.
Number 2, get help. Talk to a parent, teacher, counselor, or other trusted adult. Seeing a counselor does not mean there's something wrong with you.
Number 3, save the evidence of the cyberbullying. Keep abusive text messages or a screenshot.
Number 4, report threats of harm and inappropriate sexual messages to the police. In many cases, the cyberbully's actions can be prosecuted by law. If you don't report the incidents, the cyberbully will often become more aggressive.
Number 5, use advanced privacy settings on social networking sites to block unwanted messages and never share your password with anyone.
It's also very important that you don't seek revenge on a cyberbully by becoming a cyberbully yourself. Again, it'll only make the problem worse and could result in serious legal consequences for you. If you wouldn't say it in person, don't say it online.
Learn to deal with stress. Find ways to relieve stress so you won't feel overwhelmed. Exercise, meditation, positive self-talk, and breathing exercise are all good ways to manage the stress from cyberbullying.
Remember, don't be mean behind the screen.
And think twice before you type.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on
Take a Stand.
Hey girls, welcome back to Girl Central. I'm Miss V and I'm here to answer your questions. This is a place where you can feel safe asking me anything. Remember, there's no such thing as a stupid question. All right, so let's get started. Question number 1 comes from Emma. Dear Miss V, my teacher is really mean and she picks on me every day. Sometimes she embarrasses me in front of the class and the kids start laughing. I want to say something, but I'm afraid I'll get in trouble. How can I stand up to her? Hey Emma, so sorry this is happening to you. Just because she's an authority figure, it doesn't give her the right to treat you or any student this way. And this is something you should definitely get your mom or dad to help you out with. But first, make sure you document everything. You'll want to have records of what was said or done and when she did it. And you might also record her on a cell phone so that you have proof of her behavior. Then, have your parents set up a meeting with your teacher to discuss what's going on. And in the meeting, explain exactly what's happening and how it's making you feel. And you can request that a school administrator be at this meeting. And if you need to, go to the principal and the superintendent. And remember, if things still don't change, you can also switch out of that class. And I'm very proud of you for wanting to stand up for yourself. Good luck. Question number 2 comes from Courtney. Dear Miss V, my best friend and I have a crush on the same guy. I don't want to hurt her feelings by flirting with him or going out with him, but I really like him. What should I do? All right, so I was in the same situation in 7th grade. So my friend knew that I liked this boy, and when she went out with him, it really hurt my feelings, and it hurt our friendship for a while too. And she never talked to me about it. So my advice is that you should tell her you like him and then see what she says. And she's your best friend, so it should make it a little easier for you to talk to her about how you're feeling. And if you don't want to ruin a great friendship, just back off from the guy and try to set your sights on somebody else. Just imagine how you'd feel if after she told you about your crush, she also went out with him. And maybe you should both agree to look from afar, but that's it. But regardless of how your conversation goes, do not fight for him. It's not worth it. I mean, you have to think about whether losing a best friend over a guy whose name you probably won't remember in 10 years is worth all the drama. Now remember, boyfriends will come and go, but besties should be forever. All right, last question comes from Claudia. Dear Miss V, I'm a junior in high school and I already feel a lot of pressure to decide on a future career. I have no idea what I want to do, and when I think about it, it just stresses me out. Is this normal? Yes, this is totally normal. Many students have no idea what career interests them in high school, and even adults find themselves switching careers after years of working in a field because their interests change. Okay, so as far as you, there are tests that you can take to find out your strengths and help guide your decision. I suggest taking 2 different types of assessments. The first one will identify what your natural talents are and give you suggestions on how to use these in college and a career. And the test only takes about 20 to 30 minutes, and you'll get detailed info about yourself and your strengths. And the feedback is easy to read and understand. And then the other test doesn't measure your skills, but it can tell you where you'd fit in best based on your personal strengths. So ask a school counselor if they'll be giving these type of tests at your school, or if they can recommend an organization that gives the test for a free or a low cost. Counselors are there to help you, so I'm sure they'll be happy to hook you up with the screening that you need. And keep in mind that many colleges don't make you declare your major until your 3rd year there, so you'll be able to take different courses and find out exactly what interests you in the beginning. And this is an exciting time in your life. Try not to get stressed. Everything will work out. Okay, that's all the questions that we have for today. Thanks to the girls who had the courage to write to me, and don't forget, if you have a question that you want me to answer, write to me at askmissvquestions@gmail.com. Remember, I'm Miss V, and when you need real straight-up advice, talk to me. All right, girls, that's our show for tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in to Girl Central, and a huge special thank you to the YWCA Santa Monica West Side, City TV, and of course, all the girls on our show. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Peace.